Good evening, everybody, and welcome to this information session for experienced officers. I've been the general counsel, the first general counsel for the Surrey Police Service since April 1st last year. So I'm coming up just 1 year. Hard to believe how much we've done, how far we've traveled, how big we've grown. I'm employee number 15, and now we're well over 200. So it just shows you there's a tremendous surge here. And I've been asked to speak on the development and future of SPS, but just let me tell you very briefly about why I'm here and what I do. I think this role here is unique in all the police services in British Columbia because I'm here to serve my members and my staff. So everybody's my client. And for those of you from the RCMP and others from other police services around the province, you may have encountered me or my colleague who was with me for a number of years at RCMP Legal Services at E Division headquarters. And it was my honor to serve the Deputy Commissioner right down to the most junior constable who just arrived from Depot Division on whatever legal issues may come up. And I can tell you there was never a boring day in that whole posting. Same thing here as well. And when I heard that Chief Constable Norm Lipinski was hired as the first chief here, I was his client, or he was my client. I was his lawyer at E Division for a good number of years, about 5 years. And I thought, if I ever get a chance to work for him again as his lawyer, I'll step right up. And sure enough, here I am. So this is great. And Deputy Chief Constable Highland as well. I knew her as far back as year 2000 and much more recently in her command position. So that's the whole thing. I've seen my members grow up and rise in the rank structure, and now here we are at SPS building a brand new police service. And lawyers from across the country, other police lawyers have said what an opportunity this is to help build a new police service, to construct it with best hires, best practices, best policies, and hopefully the best legal advice to keep everything on the straight and narrow. So this is a fantastic opportunity, and it's in my hometown of Surrey, where I've lived here for next month 20 years. So I'm committed to Surrey here. This is just tremendous. So what I want to do here is just to indicate one of the first big milestones, even just last week, was the collective agreement, which is a fantastic step forward in the permanency of SPS. And everything I say here should be taken as a confirmation that, yes, SPS is a go. We're here to stay. We have support from all three levels of government, the federal government, the provincial government, and the municipal government, the city council and City Hall. So this is a fantastic opportunity to build something new. And every day there's 5 new challenges I've never thought of before. And upstairs with the Chief Constable, he's probably got 15 or 20 new challenges every day. So come and join us. This is a fantastic opportunity to help create a new police service in a big city that's growing. And within a number of years, will be the largest city in British Columbia. So I've traveled locally and all across Canada, but one of my favorite moments was briefing the watches, whether it's RCMP or the municipal, the police agencies, if they called me in, and they frequently did. And to brief them, they typically say, come and speak for 20 minutes. And an hour later, they're still asking questions, which is a fantastic opportunity, building lifelong relationships. And when I left the RCMP at the end of March last year, into the fiscal year, I wonder if that model that I've got here now and had back then, was that working well? And I was overwhelmed, just amazed by the comments I got from members who were from constable to deputy commissioner, commanding officers across the country saying, thank you for being there for me at the right time. And you don't want to have a lawyer in your car all the time or on your duty belt all the time, but certainly having a lawyer there to help the members is a trauma-informed practice, I would say, as well. My role from 1998 to 2021, because I've been a lawyer for 37 years, but the 22 years I spent with the RCMP, I told all the commanding officers, I want you to be the best served commanding officer for legal services in the whole country. And now I'm doing that for Norm Lipinski here at SPS. So come and join us here. Now, what I want to do is just show the slides here as well. Go to the next slide, please. Just to show you that I've been serving as legal advisor for a whole bunch of things for a long time. I grew up in an RCMP family, so the blood runs deep on that one there. My first uniform inspection on the far left, trying on the kit, then riding the horse, flying the helicopter, and the trauma dog at E Division headquarters like that. So I lived a life, even though I was never a police officer, I don't pretend to be one, but I'm your live operational policing lawyer. Next slide, please. So let's get into the hard facts in this case here. SPS is approved to move forward. And again, positive, everything I say here is indicating it's green light, let's get the job done. Surrey City Council, a unanimous approval in 2018, electing a municipal policing model over the RCP contract, which had been going since 1951. So that was a pretty clear message. The Surrey Police Board, which is the employer for all the employees here, myself, the Chief Constable, everybody here, the board was created in 2020. And then it's actually an independent public body with full legal status. It's not an appendage of City Hall. It's not controlled by the mayor and council. It's an independent legal status public body. The Surrey Police Service was established shortly after that at the inaugural meeting of the board. And shortly after that, again, in December 2020, Chief Constable Norm Lipinski was hired. He is badge number 22. And if you know the story behind that, the first 21 badges were the original Surrey Police Department, which was the policing of jurisdiction here from 1887 to 1951. So it's a reflection of honor on those who came before us, and Chief is now badge number 22. So the senior staff were hired then, the deputy chief constables, the superintendents, the inspectors, and a lawyer named Kyle Friesen. So I'm honored to be here as the general counsel. So next column. So many milestones. SPS, I think it's 179 now. The numbers have changed every couple of days or so. 178 police officers and 29 civilian employees. By October 2022, we anticipate having approximately or just over 300 employees. So the critical mass is fast approaching. It indicates it's a real positive role for this organization here. The Surrey Police Board is the employer of all employees here, and it has significant legal obligations to each employee. The board just can't be erased by City Council. I'll explain about that process in a moment, but the board is independent of the City Council. That's the tremendously important legal thing, and that's one of my major roles here is to maintain. We just lost the screen there as well, so I'll just go to my slides right here. The Surrey Police Union was certified in 2021 to represent the sworn SPS police officers who are the constables, sergeants, and staff sergeants. So that's a huge step towards just building the whole organization. The first collective agreement was negotiated March 3rd. I would call it industry leading with best practices for policing and wellness of members. So go to the next slide, please. So the municipal elections, a lot of people have asked questions about this, so I thought I'll address this head on right here. The first question on the left side, can the municipal election in Surrey stop the transition from RCMP to SPS? And the simple answer is no. The province of BC has ultimate authority over policing in the province. That's very, very clear under the Police Act. The city in 2018 exercised its rights like all cities who have RCMP contract policing in the province of BC, exercised its rights to change its municipal policing model. A new mayor and council, whoever they may be, in that election is this fall after a 4-year term. It used to be a 3-year term, so now we have 4-year terms here in BC. Cannot unilaterally change this historic decision without provincial ministerial approval. So, the chances of that, I'll explain, are nil. The initiative petition for a referendum, you may remember that in about August until November, so 2021, was unsuccessful, rejected by Elections BC, so that just faded away pretty quickly. Now the question is, can the province tell a city what to do? And that's some of the disinformation we're seeing out there in social media is, the city can reverse everything and tell a province what to do, and the province has to agree. Not so. First of all, I'll explain about the Police Act. But if you think in 2002, the oldest Esquimalt Police Service and the Victoria Police, Esquimalt decided let's fold up the Esquimalt Police Department, and they wanted to switch over to an RCP contract on Vancouver Island. Esquimalt's it's mostly military town, but it's a small town just north and west of Victoria. So the province said, no, you're not. You're going to merge with Victoria Police Department, and that's what they did in 2002. Ever since then, it's been a joint police service under the Victoria Police Service. So that's a good example of the province here saying, no, you can't just flip over to RCMP, which is the opposite of what we're doing right here as well. So there's no change every 4 years. You can imagine the chaos and cost and public confusion if every 4 years a new council came in and said, let's have a new police service, RCMP, SPS, something else, who knows. That would be ridiculous. The public safety costs and cost to taxpayers would be enormous. So this is a one-time, one direction, let's get her done kind of approach. Then the question is, could the police board be dissolved and the police service be shut down, decertify a police union, cancel a collective agreement, and fire 300 plus SPS employees of the board? Answer, no. How much more do I have to say? Just no. That's just not going to happen. We have support from 3 levels of government: Canada, BC, the province, and Surrey, the city. And there's something called the Surrey Policing Transition Trilateral Committee. It has representatives from Canada, BC, and Surrey. That was formed in 2020 because I suppose at that point, long before I was hired, before the chief was hired, before the service and board were even created, they realized they have just a massive number of tasks to complete, the project to fulfill. And this trilateral committee does not replace the province's constitutional power over policing in BC. In other words, the Ministry of Public Safety and Solicitor General holds the control over this process right here. Provincial government has supported the transition since before the board was established. The Director of Police Services continues to work daily with the board and the SPS to ensure a smooth transition from a contracted policing model to a municipal model. The focus is on local service, local control, and local accountability. And none of which what I'm saying here is new, except for the numbers of actual hires, because back in July last year, the Surrey Police Board clarified the role of City Council in the Surrey Police Transition. You can find that on the Surrey Police Board 2021 news release, which came out. And when I read it, I thought, gee, that should answer all the questions. Unfortunately, we're still answering the same questions. So if you have further questions, we welcome your contacting the communications branch here at Surrey Police Service. We'd be glad to help out. So that concludes my presentation on the future of SPS. It's a go.